3 lies are keeping you out of 6-figure cybersecurity jobs, and if you believe even one of them, you're sabotaging your own career before you even start. I've helped hundreds of people break into cybersecurity, and the biggest obstacle isn't their skills, their background, or even their experience. It's the complete BS that they've been told about what it takes to get hired. Myth number 3 is the most toxic because it convinces smart, capable people that they're just not good enough before they even try, and it's probably the exact reason you clicked on this video. So if you're tired of talking yourself out of opportunities and ready to see what cybersecurity actually requires, keep watching. So myth number 1 is that you need a computer science degree. People say things like, no one will hire me without a degree. People think they need 4+ years of formal education to even start applying for these jobs. Or even worse yet, they need their master's as well. And the reality is that major companies, especially like Amazon, Google, Apple, your FANG companies that everyone else tries to copy off of, they have dropped the degree requirements a pretty long time ago on cybersecurity. They're pretty open about saying that. And even though I had a cybersecurity degree, I couldn't even get hired until I learned the right skills, which they didn't teach me in college. And that was part of the reason and motivator behind creating Elevate Cyber, creating this channel, sharing my knowledge and the things that I wish I knew when I was first getting into it, and also why I created my entire mentorship program aimed at people getting into cybersecurity. If you want to jump on a call and talk about that in your situation, then go to the link down in the description below, fill out the brief survey, have that discussion. Also, the other reality is that employers, they care about what you can do, not what degree you have. Why does this myth persist? Well, I think traditional HR practices companies have relied on for years, they've moved away from them because they realize that they're outdated. And also people that are using these degree requirements as an excuse not to try, they think like, oh, if I just get this degree, this piece of paper is going to solve all my problems. And there's also a confusion between preferred and required in qualifications. A lot of times these job descriptions will list a bunch of stuff as required. Then you land the job, you find, wait, no one else has these requirements. And so I think a lot of people, they're afraid to apply even though they could land the job. Second myth is that, oh, I have to start in the help desk and then work my way up. Reality is that this is a very slow path. I mean, it's something that is like a traditional way it could work, but I can also tell you, I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of people that are in the help desk and they feel stuck. They can't even get into cybersecurity. And the other downside to this path, not only is it slow, but you're going to be underpaid and it often leads to nowhere. There's a lot of people, like I said, they feel like they're stuck in this job. I know people that have been in it for 5, 10, 15 years, and they've been looking to make a transition out into something like cybersecurity. Many help desk roles, they don't actually prepare you for cybersecurity work, not nearly as much as the internet might make you believe. The reality is you can skip directly into cybersecurity roles with the right preparation. Like, I've never worked in help desk myself, and I've helped, dozens of students go straight into cybersecurity without first going into IT or these different backgrounds. People like Imran, who straight out of college landed a job in cybersecurity. I wish I could say that straight out of college I landed a cybersecurity job. But that just goes to show what happens when you actually focus on what gets you hired rather than, feeling like you got to do this gatekeeper path just because someone told you that, it was the only way to make it happen. So why does this myth persist? There's a lot of outdated career advice from people that entered the field like a super long time ago, and they haven't been tapped into, talking with people on and finding out boots on ground. What are employers looking for right now? What's getting people hired right now? And, maybe if they're working still in cybersecurity, they're not really involved on the other side of those hiring decisions and, doing those interviews with candidates and really being tapped into what is the current state of the field. And also companies that want cheap labor in help desk roles is another reason this persists as well, because companies are like, oh yeah, let's take advantage of, the situation and see like what deals we can get. Not even just for the help desk roles. I've seen like even in IT and other positions where they're really lowballing candidates, and even on these entry-level cybersecurity roles, they know they're going to have 1,000+ applicants, so they're lowballing people and paying them, pennies on the dollar. Whereas if that person would have just, applied for some of these mid-level roles, maybe they would have a pretty good shot that a lot of people be afraid to apply for. Also, the lack of knowledge about alternative pathways, I think, is another thing. why this myth persists, because a lot of people think that like, oh, this is like, oh, for sure you have to do this because XYZ content creator person on the internet said this is the only way to get in. Number three is that cybersecurity is only for computer geniuses. This couldn't be further from the truth. Many cybersecurity roles require business skills, communication, problem solving, and things other than just deep technical knowledge. And what I like to tell people is no matter what background you're from, even if it's a non-technical background, I guarantee you there's something that you could bring to the table and something that you could highlight that would be of value to the cybersecurity role that you're trying to apply for. But you definitely need to utilize your existing experience, whether it's customer service, problem solving, attention to detail skills you have can be very valuable. The genius hacker stereotype is mostly just Hollywood fiction anyways, so I wouldn't really focus in on that. Of course, there's technical skill sets and things that you need, but there's other things as well, is my point. My students, Nav, who landed a job in cybersecurity, I'll put the link in the cards for that, with very minimal technical skills. He leveraged his military background, his social skills, his communication skills to really sell himself in that interview and land a job in cybersecurity. Now he's been in the field for a number of years and has had a really successful career so far. The reason that this myth, though, I would say is so damaging is it's one of those things that creates imposter syndrome in the first place. Before you even try, you feel like you have no shot, right? And it keeps people that are qualified and intelligent from even taking action, even exploring the field, because they think, oh, what's the point? I have no shot. I have no chance. And it ignores that cybersecurity is about protecting people and businesses, and it just hones in on only the technical and makes it feel like, oh, it's just technical and it's just this, and there's, if you're not a super genius and you have no chance, right? Here's the truth about cybersecurity careers. What actually matters is your willingness to learn and adapt, your problem-solving mindset overall, and understanding that cybersecurity is also about things like risk management and not just technology, and having the right guidance and roadmap to make that happen. So what are the real requirements to get into cybersecurity? Well, if I had to list them, I would say like a curiosity mindset and persistence. Those are the two things. Like if we take everything else away, I would say if you are curious, you're genuinely curious about technology, about cybersecurity, about how things can be broken, and you also are persistent to where like even if you hit a roadblock, even if you hit a difficult situation, you're not going to instantly give up. You're going to persist. You're going to, I hate to say it, but try harder, as Offset likes to say, right? Also, your ability to think like both a defender and attacker, I think, is very valuable as well. These are two interrelated things. These are not completely isolated. Sometimes we really talk about offensive security versus defensive security, but both are beneficial for both, no matter what you want to get into. And also your communication skills, like I was driving home earlier, the ability to explain technical concepts to non-technical people, that's going to be your bread and butter. And your structured learning approach with practical application, that's the key, right? It's good to have structure and, theory, but you also need to practically be able to apply this stuff so you can hit the ground running on that job. That's what makes you a great candidate when you go and interview. Now that you know these three myths are complete garbage, you're probably wondering, okay, Ryan, so what's the real way to get into cybersecurity then? Well, that's exactly what I cover in my complete roadmap video. I break down the exact step-by-step process that actually works in 2026, not the outdated advice from 2020 that everyone's still repeating. I show you the specific skills companies are hiring for right now, the fastest path from where you are to where you want to be, and how to avoid the time-wasting mistakes that keep most people stuck for years. So if you just spent the last few minutes realizing you've been believing lies about cybersecurity careers, don't waste another day following the wrong playbook. Click the video down below on how to get into cybersecurity in 2026, and I'll show you the roadmap that's actually getting people hired. This is the video that changes everything, so click it right now and let's get you started on the right path.